book titles. It's a tricky thing, picking a book title. There's so much to think about. Like, it needs to grab the reader. It also needs to look good on the cover. It also needs to, like, encapsulate what the story is about. Some of them are great. Some of them really hit the nail on the head. You finish the book, like, some of them you look at and you're like, what? Last night I really started diving into this because I was sitting on my bed trying to think of a new title for my book because I titled it so many drafts ago. The book has changed so much that the title doesn't really fit anymore. So it's time for a new one, I think. So I start to look at the contemporary titles around me. How do they capture their books and still sound good? What is everyone else calling their shit? My eyes just fall onto this one. Anna and the French Kiss. If that isn't the stupidest title I've ever heard. Anna and the French Kiss? Anna and the French Kiss. It's like her name and the French Kiss. I love this book. It's become normal to me, Anna and the French Kiss. It's just like this phrase that everyone says. Anna and the French Kiss. What is stupid? Is this marketable? And then we have Lola and the Boy Next Door. I think that one's actually catchier. Because just the word French kiss sounds stupid, but maybe it appeals to youngins because they see the word kiss, French kiss, and it's like, oh my god, scandal, 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 scandal. And then they like pick it up, right? Maybe that's where the thinking's at. Really, Lola and the Boy Next Door probably works so well because we had already established like Anna and the French Kiss. That's like a household name. What if we called Harry Potter 5 Harry Potter and the Scottish Kiss? How well does the title fit any book, really? Let's examine another huge hit, Twilight. What the fuck relevance does the word Twilight have to do with this romance about vampires? And then every subsequent book is named like after some time of day or celestial event. Now I can see all the other ones, like New Moon. You can take metaphorical meaning from those titles. Twilight, how did we come up with this? How did Stephanie Meyer come up with the name Twilight? What the fuck? Why did we pick this up? Did we pick it up because of the hands with the cool hands with the apple? This is a pop. Twilight is a time of day that at one point in the story our characters are outside in, and that's why it's relevant. What if I just called my book Day? Yeah, this is my book Day. Why is it called Day? Because sometimes it takes place in the daytime, so it works. You know what I'm saying? Like the sequel is gonna be like late day and then like early night. What if she called New Moon Night? I think that would work for New Moon, actually. Because it's like, it's all dark. Because Edward is no longer with us. It's night. Daughter of Smoke and Bone. This title is just like a shot in the dark. What the fuck? I read this book and I don't really get why it's daughter. I can infer like, oh, because she doesn't know where she came from. She's just Smoke and Bone came together. I see it after knowing everything, but I still don't really. How did we get here with this? And it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words in it. What works better? Like, I tend to like titles that have like 1 or 2 words. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words. It sounds like 100. I could never remember the title of this book the year it came out. Creepy Tim Burton book. That's like literally what I would think to myself. Yeah, that creepy Tim Burton one. I've seen it on the shelf. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I see where Ransom got this. Yes, this makes sense. This is a title that matches the book. But can we say it? When someone's like, oh, what are you reading? Miss Peregrine. People have asked me what I'm reading this book, and I'm like, oh, Miss Peregrine. It has really cool pictures inside. The pictures and the story are like, and they're, I explain like what's in it, because when you try to say what it's called, and we got the fantasy titles like A Court of Thorns and Roses. What the fuck is this about? It really doesn't give you much to go on. Like when people ask me for a recommendation and I try to tell them A Court of Thorns and Roses, it's immediately like, what? It's really hard to say. I guess we couldn't call it Fairy, Beauty and the Beast retelling. It just, that doesn't roll off the tongue. The A Court of Thorns and Roses series is one of the hardest book title series for me to spit out ever. A Court of Thorns and Roses. I was at a restaurant when I was still reading Act of War by myself, and the waiter asked me what I was reading, and I didn't even want to try to tell him, because when you're like, A Court of Wings and Ruin, what kind of response will you get? What's it about? It's the third... Then Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I know this is a screenplay, but like, was that movie really Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them? Or was it Newt Scamander goes to New York to find a home for a beast and ends up falling into a scary Grindelwald plot? Should the title have been Newt Scamander and the mysterious dark magical force that Grindelwald's trying to hunt through the city? What's the next one gonna be called? We already found the Fantastic Beasts and now we're gonna find Grindelwald? Grindelwald and Where to Find Him. Shadow and Bone. Like, do I really get it? This is a great trilogy, but I have so much trouble remembering the titles because it's so similar to so many other titles, and I don't feel the tie. I don't feel the tie of Shadow and Bone to Alina's story of being a Grisha when she wasn't a Grisha and learning how to use her powers to help save Rothka from civil war. I think this was like a marketing decision. I would be interested to see what other names did we have the title Rothka and the secret light lady who saves us from civil war, or like the Darkling King, or the Darkness City of, this is a tough one, Untapped Potential, the Unknown Grisha. Alina is a Grisha. Oh, I got it. Twilight. This has just as much relevance to Twilight as Twilight. Light, Lady of Light, Light Lady. Shadows are just super popular in the book world. We love our shadows. Shadow and Bone, Lord of Shadows, Queen of Shadows, Shadow Hunter Academy, Shadow Kiss, Silver Shadows. If it's worth a little think tank, maybe I should put Shadow into my contemporary title. Maybe I should go with something like Shadows and the Happily Ever After. Paper Towns is one I think is really solid. I came out of that being like, yeah, Paper Towns, because Orlando was a paper town, and you know why Paper Town correlate. This is a great title. People who don't understand, but it's still intriguing. The book explains all, and that's beautiful. That's a beautiful title. I like this book, but it didn't explain anything to me. What is this about? I think I asked Stephanie Meyer about the title of Twilight. No, I asked her about the cover. Did I ask her about the title? What were you thinking when you called this Vampire Academy? Like, I perpetually questioned this life decision. And I'm pretty sure it was one of those, like, vampires are big. You gotta slap vampire on that cover. You know what else is big? Academies. Harry Potter. Let's slap that baby on there. Yes, this is about a vampire academy. I mean, we could have called it Rose Goes to Boarding School with Vampires. Would that be better or worse? Rose Hathaway kicks ass. Rose Hathaway, the ninja. Rose Hathaway, guardian of the vampires. Vampire guardian. I think Rose Hathaway is a catchy name. Like, I think we could have gotten away with her name in the title. Then we've got Fangirl. Like, if you saw it without Rainbow Rowell's name on it, would you still pick up Fangirl? I don't know. I guess it depends on what point of my life I was in. I would never think that Fangirl would make me feel things about my Harry Potter past if I didn't know that Rainbow Rowell's name was on this. Fangirl. Like, she took this word Fangirl and made it into a story that now I associate the word Fangirl with Fangirl and not Fangirl. That's crazy. Just like Twilight. Do you associate Twilight with the time of day Twilight? When I see Twilight in a book now, like, we were outside, it was Twilight. I'm like, oh, Twilight reference! But is it? No. It's a time of day, Christine. Calm the fuck down. Like, these titles that have nothing to do with the books, sometimes they stick and the word changes. You just change a word and it's no longer the word anymore. It's the book. It's the book that has nothing to do with new moon. An eclipse even. All I could think of during the eclipse. Look, it's a Twilight reference. Titles have power. Titles can be stupid, but still have power. How do you name your book? The Raven Boys. The boys don't turn into ravens. You gotta pick when you name a book. Like, are you gonna name it something that encapsulates everything? Or just something that, like, is catchy that kind of matches? We Were Liars. Maybe We Were Liars made a lot of sense, like, on the first draft. And then the book evolved and to the point where, like, you finish We Were Liars and you're kind of like, how does it actually connect? Titles that are like that, I feel like the author had a title. It kind of went. And then they didn't change it as the book changed. And then they're just like, if you leave it up to interpretation, it kind of makes sense. The Great Gatsby. He's really not that great. City of Bones. The actual City of Bones is not the biggest part of this book. I feel like this is the most irrelevant of all the titles of Cassie's books. Like, the rest of them, I feel like there's a pretty hard draw. Yeah, there's a pretty hard draw. Yeah, there's a pretty hard draw. City of Bones, though. I remember finishing this and being like, why is it called that. We could have called it like The Institute. That's not as catchy though. And you can't call it Cobb for short. Amy and Roger's Epic Detour. Great title. I love epic detours. When I read it though, I was like, is it Amy and Roger's Epic Detour or is it Amy and Roger's depressing going through sad times detour? No one will pick up Amy and Roger going through sad times detour. It's not as cute. Like, I got a thing for the one-word titles like Confess, Slammed. That's how I used to title my videos back in the day. Sleepless, Date, The Bathtub. I like one word, but there's only so many words. Like, you can't use a word that's already been worded. With contemporaries, we see a lot of, like, names in the title. Like Lola and the Boy Next Door, and Anna and the French Kiss, and Eleanor and Parr. But was this the intention all along? Or did we get to the end of the manuscript and think, what the fuck am I gonna call this other than the names of my two lead characters? The Epic Detour doesn't sound as good as Amy and Roger's Epic Detour, does it? Because it doesn't sound like there's a love story there, and there's the draw. You know, you want to see Amy and Roger's Epic Detour, not The Detour. If this was just called, like, The Misfits, The Misfit Love, doesn't have the same ring to it as Eleanor and Park. I don't know, there's something about names, I guess. Now I'm second guessing my prospective title. It doesn't have names in it. Do I need names? But then you have everything. And The Sun is also a star, and I feel like those are very graceful titles that really stick with you too. I don't know. It's a balancing act, folks. You want to fall somewhere in between Vampire Academy, which is so literal. Like, yes, it is a Vampire Academy, and Twilight, which is like, what the fuck? That's just a word that you put on the cover. Like, if it's a love story and we go to the grocery store at one point and, like, we just called it Groceries. Why not call it Groceries? Now you'll think of my book when you think of groceries, and it'll change your life forever. Should I call my book Groceries? Oh my god, this has been an eye-opening discussion, because I thought I was sold now on my new title, and now I'm second guessing it. Let me know what your favorite type of title is. I'm Christine. I make videos every Tuesday. I'll see you next time. Goodbye!